Hi guys, welcome to my channel Coding Shinobi. Today we are going to see most frequently asked coding interview questions in Java. I've already covered few of the questions in my part 1 and this is going to be the part 2 of the video. And without further ado, let's just get started with the video itself now. Let's just look at the questions that we are going to cover today. So guys, our first question is how do you swap two numbers without using third variable? Normally, how do you swap when given a question to swap the variables? Now, normally, how do you swap using third variable? We have this int a is equal to 5, int b is equal to 10. What you'll do is you will have a third variable which will assign a to it. Now, temp has 5 in it. Then you will assign your a to b. Then your a becomes what it becomes 10. And then in the end, it's like we are storing this a variable into a temp variable, and then we'll assign the temp variable to b. Now your b becomes 5. So a's value become 10 and b's value become 5. Now this is how you swap using the third variable. Now what we have to do, if we don't want to use a third variable, we will calculate the sum of this variable, of these two variables that needs to be swapped. Now a's value is 5 and b's value is 10. That a will be 15 in this case now. What if I subtract b from this? I'll get the value of b as it is, value of a as it is, right? What if I subtract a from 15? I'll get b, right? So we will first get the value of b from a minus b and assign it to the b. And then we will do a minus b again and then assign it to a. Let's code this and see how the program will run. Now I have this program with me wherein a's value is 10 and b's value is 5. As discussed, I have added these two values and then subtracted b from a and then subtracted b from a to get a again. When I run this program, the values are swapped. This is how you can swap two numbers without using third variable. So guys, the next question is check if given number is prime number or not. You are given a number n is equal to 10 and you have to print whether it is a prime number or not. Is 10 a prime number? What is a prime number? A prime number is a number whose factors are only two factors. And what are those factors? 1 and the number itself. But does 10 have only two factors? No. 10 has, what are the factors of 10, guys? 1, 2, 5, and 10. There are four factors. So, so 10 is not a prime number. Now, what if you have given the input as n is equal to 11? What are the factors of 11? Which is 1 and 11 itself. So 11 is a prime number. Now, if you consider the above example, when we were checking if 10 is a prime number or not, what we observed is that when 10 is divided by 2, we get 5. And when 10 is divided by 5, we get 2. What I want to say is like whenever whenever 10 gets divided by a number, we get two factors, like 1 and 10. Similarly, if I do 2 into 5, I'm getting 10. If I do 5 into 10, I'm getting 10. If I get 10 into 1, I'm getting 10. So these two operations are basically getting repeated, right? What if we loop from 1 to n and count the number of factors? We can do that, right? We can try from 1 to n count the factors. But based on the observation, do we really need to travel till n? No, right? We can, our work is done when we travel up to n by 2 as well, right? But we know that every number is divided by 1. So is it necessary to get the number divided by 1? No. So our loop can start from 2 and then until n by 2. And whenever this number gets divided from 2 to n by 2, we can safely say that the number is not a prime number. And if the loops run successfully and it is not divided by any of these numbers and any of the numbers from this range, then that number is a prime number, right? So guys, one information that you should know is like, instead of traversing up to n by 2, we can get this value even if we travel up to the root n. Then I'm not going into the basics of this. Let's code this and see it in action. Now I have this program here with me. This is the number. We are checking if this number is prime or not. I have created a method which will check whether the given number is prime or not and will return a bool value like true or false. If the number is prime number, it will return as true, otherwise false. And if it is a prime, then we'll print this. It is a prime number and not if given number is not a prime number. Now, this is just to check the edge cases. If someone is checking for n is equal to 0 or n is equal to 1, because 1 and 0 is neither a prime number nor a composite number. Since 2 is a prime number, but so we will start from 2. Int I is equal to 2 and I into I is less than equal to n, meaning we are just checking up to the square root of that number and then we'll increment the I. If my number gets divided by I, then I'll just return false and otherwise I'll return true. Let's run this program. Now 11 is a prime number. Let's take one example wherein it's not a prime number, like n is equal to 120. 120 is not a prime number. This is how you solve a prime number wala question. Its complexity is root n because we are just uh, traversing up to the root n. Now let's move on to the next question. Now the next question is find the factorial of a given number. Factorial of a given number, how do we find it? Like you have been given n is equal to 5. So factorial of a number is n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 up to 1. So what is the factorial of 5? 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, which turns out to be 120. Now we are going to have one method, factorial, which will take number as the input and return the factorial of that particular number. It's this very straightforward question. What we can do is we can have a while loop. We have while or for loop. Our factorial is equal to 1 because multiplication factor should be 1. Multiplication factor is 1, right? And what we can do is we will have a loop which runs from I is equal to 1, I is less than equal to n and I plus plus. And what I'm going to do is factorial is equal to factorial into I, whatever it is, and I'll store it again into fact. And in the end, I'll return the factorial. Let's code this. So I have this number int n is equal to 5. I have this fact which will in the end will store the value of our factorial. Then I have a loop which runs from 1 to the number. What it will do is it will just multiply it by that number and it will again store into the factorial fact variable. And in the end, I'm printing it. So guys, for your understanding, you can also run the loop from I is equal to n, then I is greater than equal to 1. Don't multiply it by 0, then your result will be 0 only. So this is how you can, we are doing like 1 into 2 into 3 into 4, 5. And if you have the reversed for loop, then it will be more like 5 into 4 into 3 into. The end result is same. It's just for your understanding. Both ways works. Let's move on to the next question. So guys, the next question is print odd numbers in a list. You're given a list and you have to print odd numbers from it. What is an odd number? Whose remainder, when divided by 2, whose remainder is 1, right? So 1 is odd number or not? Yes. 8, it's odd number or not? No. 5 is odd number. 10, when divided by 2, the remainder is 0. So 10 is not odd number. Similarly for 14, 9 is odd number. 13, when 7. So this is how you have to print all the odd numbers in a given list. Let's code this. This is a very straightforward question. So this is our list numbers. You can create a static list using arrays.addList. And I have this list which contains odd as well as even numbers. Now I want to print odd numbers in the given list. What I'm doing is I'm iterating in this loop till numbers.size, and if my remainder is 1 for that particular number, then I'll just print that number. Get is a method where you can get a number at a particular index I. The odd numbers in given list are 1, 3, 7, 5, 9, 11, 13. This is as simple as that. Let's move on to the next question. And the next question is, how do you find the second largest number in an array? You are given this array and you have to find the second max number in an array, which will be 10 in our case. This is 10. This which will be 10 in our case. How do we find it? Now, we are going to have two variables, max and second max. This can only happen when there are at least two elements in the array, right? So you can add one check if the um, size of array is less than 2, then just return the control or invalid input, whatever it is, whatever, however you want to handle it. What I can do is initially both of this my elements are infinity, negative. You can assign minimum value in your integer range for this. And what I do is I'll iterate through this array and I'll check if it is greater than my element or not. If it is greater than my element, then I'll assign max, and whatever my previous max was there, I will assign it to my second max. Now 8 is greater than minus infinity. So currently my max is 8 and my second max will be the max which was minus infinity. It will remain minus infinity only. When I go to 9, 9 is greater than 8. So my max will become 9 and my second max will become 8. Similarly, for 11, my max will become 11 and my second max will become 9. For 2, it is not greater than max, so I'll skip 2. I'll skip 5. I'll skip 6. Now, interesting fact about this 10. Now, 10 is not greater than max, right? But it is greater than second max. So, after we check if it is greater than max or not, we need to check if it is greater than second max or not. So, my max remains 11 and my second max becomes 10. Again, 3 is not greater than max or my second max. So I'll end the loop and I'll just return whatever I have or whatever value I have in my second max. Let's code this and get a visualistic idea of what we are talking about. So this is the code. I have a max variable and a second max variable, which both of these values are integer dot minimum value of the integer range. For every element in my array, whatever array it is, if it is greater than max, then I'll first assign the max value to the second max, and then our element will be assigned to the max. Else, this will check if my element is not greater than max, but it is greater than second max, then my second max will be updated to that particular element, and I'll just return this value second max from it. After running this program, the output should be 10, which is the case. So guys, these were few questions that we covered in this video, coding questions. And you can expect this kind of questions in your beginner like level 1 rounds or fresher level rounds, etc. Do you want me to cover more complex questions on like binary search or like how to reverse the linked list on linked list or trees or graphs, whatever is in your mind, let me know. If you want to continue with this series, please let me know in the comments. And I hope you learned something. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.